Lucy, this is an educational case study of an idiot.
The idea from a different perspective, and you say, well, okay, some things are so evil and terrible, and Hamas is, that you can't possibly negotiate with it. Well, under that same rubric and logic, you could certainly argue that you should negotiate with Israel. They've killed 35 times the number of...
See, this is why I had I just couldn't resist. Okay, so this is basically, I watched the first 5 minutes and I was like, then he started comparing body counts. So I was like, is body count all that matters? Is the type of cell? Okay, so in Hebrew we say like we're all one living organism, like the whole of humanity. So some organisms are like our body. Sometimes we have cells, and cells have their functions, but sometimes some cells go like berserk, and start multiplying really, really fast and killing other cells around them, and then your immune system has two options, right? So what's funny is the immune system, if they don't recognize those cells that start multiplying very fast and go beyond their scope, then it develops into something fatal. And if the body recognizes them, it takes care of them, with their immune system and kills it before it grows too fast. But, if your body, right, does the same thing, and those cells are healthy, it's called an autoimmune disease. And this way, by false flagging cells that are healthy, you're killing your own body. Your body is starting to kill your own body. So if you look at humanity as one living organism, right? If you misidentify the cells that are gonna bring the organism down as a whole, right? Let's say they have a parasitic ideology that believes and glorifies death, for example. Maybe, and like, of course, if you have a parasitic ideology like of glorifying death, that would bring the end of the organism. Therefore, you have to fight those cells. So it's not the same. It's not if you take care of the cells that have a certain mind virus. It's not the same as taking care of it's not the same operation. It doesn't have the same consequences. Hasn't have the same morality. So the body count, if the immune system, if your white blood cells, like if they are attacking the right kind of cells, it doesn't matter how many of them they are eliminating. It's a good job. If they're attacking your healthy cells, and that's autoimmune disease, then it's a bad job. That's it. Very simple. This is why, for example, if the life of a maiden or a lad, because I see somebody from Britain here, that have been studying all of their life, been going to school, have been nice to their peers, is not equal to a life of a person that goes around and takes other people's lives or violates them or mentally hurts them to the point where they cannot function healthily anymore in society. That kind of people are not equal. So it looks like it's one person here and one person there, but it's not. In fact, it's a healthy cell versus an unhealthy cell. And you, as the immune system of humanity, need to know which one you have to get rid of if you want to keep the whole organism that is called humanity alive. That's it.
Number of civilians that Hamas did in this conflict. Imagine if Hamas had killed 35 times the number of civilians Israel did. So that would be a...
See, but they would have. You see, we didn't, like, we could have eliminated the whole of Gaza 100 million times already. We didn't do it because this is not, this is not part of our ideology. If it functions kind of and doesn't bother us too much, we leave it alone. Okay? But, and they could have stayed like that forever and ever. In fact, they could have had more opportunities with time, because with time you can build trust. But in fact, they did not take that opportunity, and they proved that they are suicide cells that would go and eliminate themselves with everybody that they have. Like, they went rogue, they went berserk. That's what happened. Okay. Yes, I can tell you. In fact, it's the right thing to do, to get rid of the population like that and re-educate it. If America didn't re-educate Japan, they went into their system. They changed. The Japanese, they had a whole culture of dying for the sign and the god that is the king there, and they rewrote everything. It's like, no, not, you're not worth dying for your crazy leader. But to do that, they had to deploy atomic bombs. And God knows how many more deaths there would have been if it wasn't an atomic bomb. It could have been way more deaths. And more than that, if they had Islamic mentality, the 2 atomic bombs, they would have not given up after that. They would have went all the way until complete extinction. So this is what we're fighting against. So if they want to get extinct so badly, then they should be allowed to go extinct. That's it. And the moral thing to do is to let them. It was their choice. They chose it. Fully knowing what they're doing.
A giant number. What are we talking about? Nearly 1 million people. If you took the 40,000 people that Israel has killed in Gaza and multiplied it by 35, and you can say, oh my God, Israel, I can't believe how awful they are. And their civilian casualty rates are as bad as Hamas's. Hamas on October 7th was terrible. I condemn it 100%.
I'm gonna make it fast because I'm sure he's gonna say the same things. Just like, when you have nothing to say, you just say the same point 10 million times. So I'm pretty sure this is what he's gonna do. So I'm gonna speed it up a little bit.
My heart breaks for every civilian who's killed. I'm the one guy who's consistent on this. I don't want any Israelis killed. I don't want any Palestinians killed. And so...
See, this is where you're wrong. You should want Hamas to die. You should want it. It's the moral thing to do, is to want those who are risking humanity to get eliminated. It's not wrong. I know that humanity is traumatized because there were a lot of autoimmune moments that we had, that we started attacking healthy cells because of wrong false flags. But this is not this case, and we have enough evidence to know that this is not.